Kaley Cuoco.
You probably remember her. The girl next door with the blonde hair and the infectious smile. Penny from The Big Bang Theory, the waitress who lived across the hall from Sheldon and Leonard and completely changed their world. For 12 years, we watched her bring warmth, humor, and heart to one of the biggest sitcoms in television history. She was the character who made us laugh, made us cry, and made us believe that opposites really do attract. But when the show ended in 2019, something changed. The actress behind Penny, Kaley Cuoco, seemed to vanish from the spotlight that had made her a household name. And when we finally learned what she'd been going through, it broke our hearts. Today, we're going to talk about what really happened to Kaley Cuoco after The Big Bang Theory ended, and trust me, her story is nothing like what you'd expect. This isn't just another celebrity tale. It's a story about struggle, pain, heartbreak, and the price of fame that nobody talks about. So stick around, because what you're about to discover might completely change how you see one of television's most beloved stars. Let's go back to the beginning. Before Kaley Cuoco became Penny, before the fame and the fortune and the millions of fans, she was just a girl from California with big dreams. She was born in 1985 in Camarillo, a small city north of Los Angeles. From a very young age, Kaley knew she wanted to perform. She started acting when she was just 6 years old, appearing in commercials and small television roles. Her family supported her dreams, driving her to auditions and helping her chase the life she imagined. But Hollywood is a tough place, especially for young actors. Kaley faced rejection after rejection. She auditioned for countless roles and heard the word no more times than she could count. Still, she never gave up. She kept pushing forward, kept believing in herself even when it seemed like success would never come. And slowly, little by little, she started getting work. She appeared in shows like Ladies' Man and 8 Simple Rules, where she played Bridget Hennessy, the popular teenage daughter. That role gave her recognition, but it still wasn't the big break she was hoping for. Then came 2007. The year that would change everything. Kaley auditioned for a new comedy show about a group of nerdy scientists and their beautiful neighbor. The show was called The Big Bang Theory, and her character was Penny, a struggling actress working as a waitress at the Cheesecake Factory. Kaley got the part, and when the show premiered, it became an instant hit. Audiences loved the chemistry between the awkward physicists and the street-smart girl from Nebraska. They loved watching Penny teach the guys about social skills while they introduced her to the world of science and comic books. For 12 seasons, The Big Bang Theory dominated television. It became one of the most watched sitcoms in the world, winning countless awards and making its cast members incredibly wealthy. By the final season, Kaley was earning $1 million per episode. Yes, you read that right. $1 million for every single episode. She became one of the highest-paid actresses on television, living a life that most people can only dream about. From the outside, everything looked perfect. Kaley had fame, fortune, and millions of adoring fans. She walked red carpets, appeared on magazine covers, and seemed to have it all. She got married to professional tennis player Ryan Sweeting in 2013, and their wedding looked like something out of a fairy tale. Pictures from that day showed a radiant bride, smiling and glowing with happiness. Everyone thought she had found her happily ever after. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. Just 21 months after that beautiful wedding, Kaley filed for divorce. The marriage that had seemed so perfect from the outside had crumbled in less than 2 years. And this wasn't just a simple case of two people growing apart. Years later, Kaley opened up about what she had really experienced during that time, and her words were heartbreaking. She revealed that the marriage had been troubled from the start. She talked about feeling lost, confused, and deeply unhappy. She admitted that she had rushed into the relationship without really thinking it through, caught up in the excitement and the romance of it all. When things started going wrong, she felt trapped. She was dealing with the pressure of being on one of the biggest shows on television while her personal life was falling to pieces. And she had to do it all in front of the world, with tabloids and gossip websites documenting every moment of her pain. The divorce was finalized in 2016, and Kaley was left to pick up the pieces of her broken heart. But if you think that was the hardest part of her story, you're wrong. Because what came next was even more difficult. During this same period, Kaley was dealing with something that most people never knew about. Something that caused her physical pain every single day. Something that would eventually require multiple surgeries to fix. Throughout her time on The Big Bang Theory, Kaley was an active person who loved sports and physical activities. She was an accomplished equestrian, meaning she trained and competed with horses. She had been riding since she was a teenager, and it was one of her greatest passions. But horseback riding is a dangerous sport, and over the years, Kaley suffered several serious injuries. She broke her leg in a riding accident in 2010, requiring surgery and months of recovery. Then, years later, she suffered a severe shoulder injury that caused her constant, debilitating pain. Imagine trying to film a comedy show where you have to be energetic and funny and make millions of people laugh, all while dealing with physical pain that never goes away. Imagine having to hide that pain because the show must go on, because you have contractual obligations, because hundreds of people depend on your work to keep their own jobs. That was Kaley's reality for years. She smiled through the pain, performed through the discomfort, and never let the audience see how much she was suffering. In 2018, Kaley underwent shoulder surgery to repair the damage from her riding accidents. She shared photos from the hospital on social media, showing herself in a hospital gown with bandages and medical equipment. She thanked her doctors and nurses and tried to stay positive. But the recovery was long and difficult. Physical therapy was painful. Getting back to normal activities took months. And this was happening while she was still filming The Big Bang Theory, still showing up to work every day with a smile on her face. Then came 2019, and The Big Bang Theory finally came to an end after 12 incredible seasons. The final episode aired in May, and it was an emotional goodbye for everyone involved. Kaley cried during the final table read, unable to hold back her tears as she said goodbye to the character who had defined her career. She hugged her castmates, thanked the crew, and tried to process the end of an era. For 12 years, The Big Bang Theory had been her life. She had grown up on that show, from a 21-year-old young woman to a 33-year-old adult. And now it was over. What happens when a show that big ends? What happens when you've been doing the same thing for 12 years, and suddenly it's gone? For many actors, the end of a long-running series is like losing a part of themselves. They don't know who they are without that character. They struggle to find their next role, their next purpose. And for Kaley, this transition was especially difficult because of everything else she had been dealing with. After The Big Bang Theory ended, Kaley seemed to disappear from the public eye. She wasn't doing big movie premieres or major television appearances. She wasn't on magazine covers anymore. Some people wondered if she had retired. Others speculated that she was taking a break to recover from the exhausting years of filming. But the truth was more complicated than anyone realized. In interviews that came later, Kaley opened up about this period of her life, and what she shared was heartbreaking. She talked about feeling lost and uncertain about her future. She talked about struggling with the pressure to find her next big role, to prove that she was more than just Penny from The Big Bang Theory. She talked about dealing with anxiety and the fear that maybe her best years were behind her. But there was something else too. Something that made this time even harder. In 2020, the world was hit by a global pandemic that changed everything. COVID-19 shut down Hollywood, closed television productions, and forced everyone into lockdown. For Kaley, this meant even more isolation, even more uncertainty, even more time alone with her thoughts and fears. During the pandemic, Kaley also went through another major life change. She had started dating equestrian Kaley Cuoco in 2016, and they got married in 2018. For a while, they seemed happy. They posted cute photos together on social media, talked about their shared love of horses, and appeared to be building a beautiful life together. But then, in September 2021, they announced that they were getting divorced. After 3 years of marriage, another relationship had ended for Kaley. The announcement shocked fans. Once again, Kaley was facing the pain of a failed marriage. Once again, she had to deal with heartbreak while the entire world watched. In her statement about the divorce, Kaley asked for privacy and compassion. She said that she and Kaley had realized they had different paths in life, and they had made the mutual decision to go their separate ways. But anyone who has been through a divorce knows that even when it's mutual, even when it's for the best, it still hurts. Imagine going through not one but two divorces before the age of 40. Imagine having both of those very public relationships examined and dissected by strangers on the internet. Imagine reading cruel comments from people who don't know you, judging your choices and making assumptions about your life. That was Kaley's reality. And through it all, she was also trying to rebuild her career, trying to prove that she was more than just one character from one show. But here's where Kaley's story takes a turn. Here's where we see the real strength and resilience that she had inside her all along. Instead of giving up, instead of letting the pain and the heartbreak define her, Kaley decided to fight back. She decided to take control of her own narrative and create opportunities for herself rather than waiting for them to come to her. In 2020, even during the pandemic, Kaley starred in a new show called The Flight Attendant. But this wasn't just another acting job. Kaley was also an executive producer on the show, meaning she had creative control and decision-making power. She wasn't just showing up to say lines written by someone else. She was helping to shape the entire project from the ground up. This was her chance to show the world that she was a serious actress and a businesswoman, not just the pretty girl next door from a sitcom. The Flight Attendant was a thriller about a flight attendant who wakes up in a hotel room next to a dead body with no memory of what happened. It was dark, intense, and completely different from anything Kaley had done before. Critics wondered if she could pull it off. Could America's sweetheart from The Big Bang Theory play a character with serious problems, dealing with alcoholism, trauma, and dangerous situations? The answer was a resounding yes. When The Flight Attendant premiered, it became a huge success. Critics praised Kaley's performance, calling it a revelation. She showed depth, emotion, and range that many people hadn't seen from her before. She proved that she was more than just comedic timing and a pretty face. She could carry a dramatic thriller, play complicated emotions, and keep audiences on the edge of their seats. And the recognition came flooding in. In 2021, Kaley received nominations for major awards including an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award for her work on The Flight Attendant. These weren't just participation trophies or fan-voted online polls. These were serious nominations from respected industry organizations, recognizing her as one of the best actresses working in television. After years of being seen as just Penny, Kaley was finally being taken seriously as a dramatic actress. The show was renewed for a second season, and Kaley continued to pour her heart into the project. She worked long hours, balanced her responsibilities as both star and producer, and proved to everyone including herself that she had what it took to succeed beyond The Big Bang Theory. This was her comeback moment, her chance to show that she was down but definitely not out. And then something else happened. Something that brought real joy back into Kaley's life after so much heartbreak. In 2022, she started dating actor Tom Pelphrey, and by all accounts, this relationship was different. There was something real and genuine about the way they looked at each other, the way they talked about each other in interviews. And in October 2022, Kaley announced some incredible news. She was going to be a mother. After everything she had been through, after the divorces and the injuries and the struggles, Kaley was about to start a new chapter. She was pregnant with her first child, and the happiness radiating from her was unmistakable. She shared her journey with fans, posting photos of her growing belly and talking openly about her excitement and nervousness about becoming a mom. And in March 2023, she welcomed her daughter into the world. Becoming a mother changed Kaley in profound ways. She has talked about how holding her daughter for the first time made all the pain and struggle feel worth it. She has shared how motherhood has given her a new perspective on life, on what really matters, on what true happiness looks like. She posts photos of her little girl, though she's careful to protect her daughter's privacy by not showing her face. And the love in those posts, the pure joy, is something you can feel even through a phone screen. But even with all this happiness, even with her successful show and her beautiful daughter, Kaley still deals with the aftermath of everything she's been through. She has been open about her struggles with mental health, about dealing with anxiety and the pressure of living life in the public eye. She has talked about going to therapy, about working on herself, about learning to set boundaries and protect her peace. She has also been incredibly honest about her physical health struggles. In addition to her shoulder surgery, Kaley has dealt with other medical issues over the years. She's had sinus surgery to help with breathing problems. She's dealt with the long-term effects of her riding injuries. And she's been open about all of it, sharing her experiences to help other people feel less alone in their own struggles. What makes Kaley's story so heartbreaking isn't just the pain she's experienced. It's the fact that she experienced so much of it while pretending everything was fine. It's the reality that while millions of people were laughing at Penny's jokes on The Big Bang Theory, the actress playing her was dealing with a failing marriage, chronic pain, and deep uncertainty about her future. It's knowing that behind the smile we saw on screen was a woman fighting battles that most of us never knew about. But what makes Kaley's story inspiring is how she's handled it all. She hasn't hidden from her pain or pretended it didn't happen. She's been honest about her struggles, about her divorces, about her injuries and her fears. She's used her platform to talk about mental health, to encourage other people to seek help, to remind everyone that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. She's shown that you can fall down and still get back up. You can have your heart broken and still find love again. You can face seemingly insurmountable challenges and still come out stronger on the other side. Today, Kaley Cuoco is in a very different place than she was at the height of The Big Bang Theory's success. She's no longer the highest-paid actress on television. She's no longer on one of the most-watched shows in the world. But in many ways, she seems happier and more fulfilled than ever before. She has a daughter she adores, a partner who supports her, and a career that she's built on her own terms. She's producing projects that matter to her, playing characters that challenge her, and using her voice to make a difference. She's also returned to one of her first loves, horseback riding. Despite the injuries, despite the pain, Kaley never gave up on her passion for horses. She owns several horses and continues to ride and compete. She's shown that you don't have to let fear or past trauma stop you from doing what you love. Sometimes the things that hurt us are also the things that bring us the most joy, and we have to find a way to do them safely and responsibly without giving them up entirely. Kaley has also become an advocate for animal rights and rescue. She has several rescue dogs and has used her platform to encourage adoption and raise awareness about animal welfare issues. This passion has given her purpose beyond acting, beyond fame, beyond Hollywood. It's something real and meaningful that she can contribute to the world. Looking back at Kaley's journey from Penny to now, it's clear that her story is about so much more than just a sitcom ending. It's about a woman who faced incredible challenges, both public and private, and found the strength to keep going. It's about someone who could have let heartbreak define her but chose instead to let it refine her. It's about learning that success isn't just about how much money you make or how famous you are. It's about finding happiness, health, and purpose in your life. The title of this video says that what happened to Penny from The Big Bang Theory is heartbreaking, and in many ways, it is. It's heartbreaking to learn about the pain Kaley endured. It's heartbreaking to know that she struggled while bringing joy to millions of people. It's heartbreaking to think about the pressure she faced and the challenges she overcame. But it's also incredibly inspiring. Because Kaley didn't let the heartbreak win. She didn't give up or fade away. She fought back, built something new, and found happiness on the other side of the pain. Her story reminds us that the people we see on television, the celebrities we admire from a distance, are real human beings with real problems and real pain. They're not just characters or entertainment. They're people dealing with the same struggles as everyone else, just with the added pressure of doing it in the public eye. And when we remember that, when we approach celebrities with compassion and understanding rather than judgment, we create a kinder, more empathetic world. So what can we learn from Kaley Cuoco's journey? We can learn that it's okay to struggle. We can learn that heartbreak doesn't last forever. We can learn that you can reinvent yourself, no matter how long you've been doing the same thing. We can learn that physical pain doesn't have to stop you from living your life. We can learn that failed relationships don't define your worth. We can learn that asking for help, whether from therapists or doctors or friends, is a sign of strength, not weakness. Most importantly, we can learn that your story isn't over just because one chapter ends. When The Big Bang Theory ended, some people probably thought that was the end of Kaley Cuoco's story. But it was really just the beginning of a new one. A story about resilience, about motherhood, about finding yourself when the world thinks it already knows who you are. A story that's still being written, one day at a time. Kaley Cuoco may no longer be Penny from The Big Bang Theory, but she's become something even better. She's become herself, fully and authentically, with all the scars and strength that come with that. And while parts of her journey have been heartbreaking, the woman she's become is pretty incredible. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for taking the time to learn about Kaley's real story. If this video touched you, if it made you see her in a new light, or if it inspired you in any way, please hit that like button. It really helps us continue making content like this that goes deeper than just surface-level celebrity gossip. Share this video with someone who loved The Big Bang Theory or anyone who needs a reminder that we're all stronger than we think. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the real stories behind your favorite stars. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about Kaley's journey. We love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.